Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
We are back here joined live with our friend Suzanne Fensin. Excited to have her here. She's a spiritual mentor, soul blueprint illuminator, author, and just a great person. And she's here, inspiring us in so many different ways. It's from Gilroy, California, you're based out of, right? And would you mind just introducing yourself to our listeners?
Well, I'm Suzanne Fensin. I have been a life coach, life purpose coach for over 20 years. And I'm also a soul blueprint illuminator and a spiritual mentor. And I am passionate about assisting purpose seekers break through the challenges of feeling lost and confused and frustrated at not knowing or being able to achieve their soul mission. So I provide coaching services that provide quick and empowering results.
Yeah, well, we're excited to have you here, and there's so much that you've done for us already. We've spoke for the past few weeks and learned a lot from you. What did you have in mind for us and our listeners today? Do you have an area of focus?
Well, I think we could probably just talk about what comes up. I know last week you had an amazing question that
What
you
was
asked me.
what was my amazing question? Wait, I don't remember.
We didn't really have time to get into it, but
Go
you
ahead.
you had asked about, we were talking about religious traditions and whatnot. So you had asked.
Oh, but we're all going.
Yeah,
Everyone,
yeah,
yes.
where we're all going. Where are we all going to the same place? And so I said yes, because we didn't have a whole lot of time. But there's a whole lot that goes into answering that question. So we could go into the different parts of that.
Okay, sure. Sure.
Okay. So I think when we look at different belief systems, we're looking at it with ego and personality. So in order to really see what's happening on a spiritual level, we need to peel the ego and the personality away from that and step up so that we can see that it's all energy. There's purpose to everything. And so when I see us moving into another reality once we pass, this has been my experience with working with my guides and whatnot. I see that we all go spiritually because we are energy at that point. We're not physical anymore. We don't have to deal with the humanness anymore. We move into an energy field. And so we review with our guidance team and the whole thing, did we fulfill our purpose? And if we didn't, why didn't we? And so all these questions come up, and so then we go through this review. And then we decide how we want to proceed to grow our soul, grow that soul even more. Now, there's always going to be that judgment of good versus bad. And so there's a lot of people who look out from their belief system at other belief systems as being negative. Maybe there's some form of evil that's taken place, good, bad, whatever, however you want to call it. But we can't judge it because there's so many different pieces to that soul's purpose. We don't know if they've come here to awaken other souls, and they do that in the harshest way to trigger them, get them to awaken to their own spirituality. We don't know if maybe they've been infected by some kind of dark energy and they've been taken over. And so all these things play into, are we all going to the same place? Because in the case of a soul that's been fractured and abused and has taken on inhumane actions, should we say, they will have their own judgment process that goes on within their within the creator source energy field, and they may be able to be rehabilitated, and they may make a choice to come into another life stream. They may not. It's all about what's best for that soul and what's best for the interaction that they've had during the lifetime with others.
Okay.
So they may be rehabilitated. They may not want to be rehabilitated.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, I think they would probably be recycled back into the creation, because we all are creator. We come from creator, we are creator, we go back to creator. So when you had asked that question, I was like, well, of course we all go back to creator.
Got it.
So there's just, there's numerous ways that we can visit this.
Ooh. Ooh. Ooh, I got goosebumps. That's like,
Yeah.
ah,
Yeah, just looking at, because we're so human, we're so into our egos, we just automatically start judging, and we really can't do that. When it
mm-hmm.
comes to these big questions.
Wow.
Mm.
For those out there, especially now, time of the year, though, it's, you're lonely, you're missing your loved ones, but everyone's okay. They're there, they're around us, right? Explain that to
Exactly.
us. Mm-hmm.
Yes. And I'm hearing more and more this year that so many more people are alone during the holiday season. And most of them are doing really well with it. They're realizing that they really need that time to step back and just breathe.
Mm-hmm.
This
Yeah.
world is a tricky place right now.
It sure is. Oh my goodness. Ah, wow. Well, it gives us hope. It feels good to know that we're not alone, and that, I mean, can you like connect to the other side too? Do you with like can I call you a psychic medium too? Do you have that ability? I
Well,
mean,
everybody has that ability to some extent. They just need to understand what it is, because there's so many people who they see things and they experience things, and it frightens them because they don't really know what that is. And that's just our extension to creation.
yeah.
That's our that flow. Um, I don't really consider myself a medium or anything like that, but I do have personal experiences with my guidance team. And sometimes when I'm working with clients and they're very shut down, their team will connect with my team and ask for me to give information that they would be able to assimilate into that person's energy field to help
Yeah.
them. So that does happen on occasion. And then
Yeah.
I've had numerous a lot of my work comes through dreams. And so dreams aren't just dreams. There's something going on in another reality that you're actually
Mhm.
experiencing, and you're bringing that into your current reality. So there has been some really interesting experiences there. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's true. I lost my mom almost 6 years ago now, I guess. And I connect with her in certain ways. I see the signs, I feel her. I can but I'm not psychic, but I guess I feel I'm connected, but I'm not like having a super real conversation with her. I
Right.
think, I
Yeah.
think I am, but I'm not, I don't know. But I do feel her presence, and I so believe, I think it's just rewarding to us, and makes you feel so good knowing that it's just different. They're still around, they're still there.
There's that energetic connection. So when you're connecting energetically, it's so much different than what we're used to in a physical body. So a lot of people get very upset because they don't feel like they're connecting with their loved ones who's passed
Hmm.
on. And so they search for people who can help make that connection. And from my experience, I've lost both my parents, and both rather tragically. There was some
Uh,
severe medical issues going on there. And it was really interesting because my mother, when she passed, I never had any connection with her at all afterwards. And my father even said the same thing. He said, well, why doesn't she come around? Why can't I feel her? And I was like, well, maybe she's off playing with the angels and she's got other things going on. And it took, well, my dad was there. Once he passed, he was there with me all the time. I couldn't feel him until someone mentioned there's a guy hanging around with glasses. Who is that? And I was like, well, I instantly knew it was my dad. And then all of a sudden that opened up the communications.
yeah.
But for my mom, it took like 20 years. And I didn't take it personally because from experience, I've had friends who've passed over, and then I could ask them if they would like to come through and tell me what's going on the other side. So I have had a couple of friends come back and say, it's not all fun and games. There's some hard work that we're going through here because we're actually doing that
Yeah.
review. We're
Mhm.
going through what our life was like and why it was that way and what do we want to do to move forward. And so I figured that's what my mom was all about. She was busy because she had a real hard life when she was here. And so I figured she was really busy working all that out. And sure enough,
Yeah.
I think it was last year she came around and we had quite the conversation.
Wow. Yeah. That's
Yeah,
amazing. It
it
really
just
is.
depends. Everybody's different.
Oh my goodness. What else did you want to add for today? I'm sorry, we're just on a roll talking about this, but there's so much more to you, what you do. Please, sorry, you're digressing back to my question from last week, my thing, but what else did you have in mind for us?
Well, I'm thinking that maybe just a little bit of conversation about the readings that I do.
Mm-hmm.
So when I'm doing a life purpose soul blueprint reading, we are connecting into that spiritual realm.
Mm-hmm.
So when we're talking about the different challenges, a lot of it is so very spot on. People are just like, oh my gosh, this is what's been going on with me, and I just didn't understand it. And so a lot of the um, guidance around that person comes through at that point.
Yeah.
And then that helps me see what they've been going through on a higher level that they're not even aware of. And then I can share that with them. And that then adds more oomph
More
to the
oomph
reading
and
itself.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, our lives are, like I said, our lives are just so quantum. It's hard for us to wrap our minds around
Yeah.
what all's going on.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And go ahead.
Good. Good.
No, I was just going to remind everyone who we're talking to. Would you mind sharing best form, all forms of contact?
Oh, sure. I am on social media. Let's see, I'm on Facebook, Alignable, LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube, and you can send an email to me at Suzanne at SuzanneFensin.com. And of course, my website is SuzanneFensin.com. And if you join my website, join my email list, you will receive a free gift of a free mini reading, soul blueprint mini reading.
And what does that consist of?
So what I do is I look at your goal. So you would provide me with your birth name as it appears on your birth certificate.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would actually look at the goals that show up in your blueprint, and we would discuss those goals as to, are you on track?
Yeah.
And how can you be on track in a creative way? It's fun. It kind of opens the door to the whole experience.
Wow. Oh, wow. All right. This is awesome. Awesome. I connected with a friend last night who's a psychic medium, animal communicator, and we went on Instagram and Facebook Live together just to chat, and she was able to like pull up people like and connect with her, and I'm just sitting there like watching all this. I love it. And you see people like and just like the affirmations. And of course you have
Mhm.
your naysayers and all, but then they're like, oh, that was her name, or that does connect. So it's so nice to try to like,
Yeah.
not going to say change people's mind, but just make them open their mind and expand their mind. Is that the way to say it? I think so.
Yes. Well, our animals are very, very special. They're here to really help us expand also.
Yeah.
And here as our guardians and our protectors and unconditional love. And we humans, the animals, our pets have come in to help us go through what we need to go through to ascend, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So they absorb so much of our emotions. And so a lot of times when a pet becomes ill, you can pretty much trace that back to what's going on with the person, what's the emotional turmoil
Yeah.
happening because they're absorbing that energy. So
Oh my
the,
gosh.
the love that it takes to come into a live stream to
Uh-huh.
to help your human, it's just amazing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's true. Mm.
We love our pets.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I lost one 2 months ago.
Oh
My
dear.
my cat Cuddles from it was 15 years old. Yeah, it was sad.
Oh
So
wow. Yeah.
and yeah, miss him like crazy, but I know he's around us and I have a 5 and 7 year old, so we talk about him a lot. I just made them special ornaments that Santa's gonna bring them for Christmas with their picture on it with him, you know. But yeah.
Well, the 5 and 7 year olds, they probably see them or feel them.
Yeah, they must. They must. They're yeah, especially the older one. He was closer because he was, had him for 7 years in his life. The
Yes.
other one's five,
Yes.
didn't have as much, but it's like, yeah, but he still gets emotional when we talk about him, which is the only thing
Oh,
that makes him emotional, which is interesting because he was so attached. Yeah.
yeah. It's hard to let go sometimes.
Yeah, of course, absolutely. Especially around these times. And Suzanne, could you
Yes.
share some experiences that you have with your clients and the work that you've been doing with them?
Yeah. I just recently had a client who, oh goodness, she was very, very intuitive. And she was gifted actually, but she was raised in a tradition that didn't allow um for that extraordinariness.
Yeah.
And so we went through um going through what was holding her back because she was stuck and she
Yeah.
was participating in some rather questionable behaviors. And so we were going through that, and as we went through that, I
Oh,
requested that she start journaling. And she hadn't journaled before. And when she started journaling, she started seeing this amazingness that was her, but she was afraid of it because it was so powerful and it was so beautiful. And she had been taught to believe that she
yeah.
was not enough.
Yeah.
So she couldn't believe it. And oh my goodness, she got to the point where she was saying that she was having a hard time accepting it. So we were working through some self love exercises. And then one day she just came to me and she said, I can't do this. I believe I'm being possessed. And
Yeah.
she burned her journals. Oh my God. I was
Wow.
just like, so at that point I kind of had to let her step away and um, just kind of reform her reality because she was just going through so much. And then a couple of months later, she came back and she said, now I understand.
Yeah.
So there's
Yeah.
something, it's not something that's just, linear. It's not point A, point B, do this, do that, do this. It's how the soul needs to experience and
True.
grow. And not everybody does it the same way. So that was kind of because I was really concerned for her there for a moment. It's like, wow, because she was just so concerned that she was being possessed by something that she didn't want having any part of it. And then she realized that I said, what? That's me.
Yeah.
So yeah, our
Oh,
belief systems are so powerful. My goodness, getting around them and getting into them and letting some of it go is probably the hardest thing we do as humans.
yeah. Mm-hmm. But we can get through it.
Yes, we do. We champion and power through and when someone was asking me the other day who my heroes were, and I said, well, I think the biggest hero in my life was myself because I had to go through a tremendous amount
Yeah.
of strife to get to where I am today. And so, and they found that to be very offensive because they said, well, that's just selfish. It's
Yeah.
like, no, that's not selfish at all. I think giving my power away to some external hero is so anti personal,
Mm-hmm.
it basically you are giving your power away to that person or whatever it is that you're looking toward for validation of some sort or power or whatever it is. So
Wow.
yeah, I had to look really sketchy there to that person. I don't think they really even understood what I was saying, but
Look at it,
Oh,
right? Doesn't that
yeah,
happen sometimes though, right?
yeah, exactly. Sometimes
Yeah,
you gotta step out of that box.
exactly, exactly. Wow. And by the way, some of your work, the books you have, what are they called again? What the titles?
Oh, um, my novel is Gaia's Emissary.
Uh-huh. Yay! See, I knew. I'm
Is it?
psychic. How'd she know it was
Yeah.
there?
So
Uh-huh.
it's on Amazon, and I can just read you the back of the book here, just to tell you what it's all about. The story starts in the 1960s when the seeds are being planted for mass devastation of the planet, and technology and science are replacing the ancient wisdom of caring for a home. Psychology is gaining ascendancy over spirituality,
Yeah.
and progress for profit has created a produce and consume frenzy for those who can get in the game. So into this environment, the main character,
Yeah.
Mark, is born. He's a child of spiritually adept parents, and he's brought up to know his ever-present spirit guides and to respect the beings that guide the elements um, around him. He's also thoroughly educated in the ways of the world, gaining firsthand experience of prejudice and hatred. And so, along with his brother, who is a healer, he learns to navigate the realities he knows and prepares to meet his greater destiny, one that may hold the future of the earth in the balance. And that's where we are right now. We're at that pivot point where humanity and the earth, we're seeing so much devastation, and it's now time to turn that around. And that's what we're doing.
Wow. Like when COVID, the pandemic hit and came, did you like know and sense this was all coming down? There was going to be something greater. Like, how did you like? What did you know? Like, what did you feel? What did you?
Well, I've been watching this for over 20 years, because when 9/11 happened, I knew immediately that this was the breakdown, and
Mm-hmm.
we were going to see some really devastating things to get through this, because as humans, we've been just kind of accepting so much and not questioning. Or even if we did question, we just kind of, oh, well, okay, well, we'll deal with that tomorrow or something like that.
Yep.
So that was a huge wake up call. And then there's been several others along throughout the years. And it's like, I see this pattern, I see it happening. And so then when COVID happened, it's like, oh my gosh, this is like the nail in the coffin. We either do something about this now, or we are
Mm-hmm.
no longer what we came here for.
Yeah.
You know, our humanness is being taken away from us. So yeah, a long
Well,
time.
wow. Wow, wow, wow. It's still amazing every time I think about it and like
Yeah.
what we went through. But is there anything else for like, do you get any signs or premonitions about what's to come? Um,
I'm a Pollyanna, and I think that's what's carried me through all these years. I really believe in the triumph of the human spirit. I
mm-hmm.
believe that there's so much wisdom and so much um, creation amongst the human population. And so I truly believe that we are turning the page and we're moving into a much more expansive realm right
Yep.
now. We're using all this diversity to catapult ourselves into something so much greater. And it's up to us to create that. And so those seeds are being planted. We're going through a whole new generation of planting new seeds for a whole different way of being. And it's going to look very different from what we're used to, but it's all us. It's up to us. Each individual has something to contribute. So I'm excited about it.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much. Suzanne, how can we reach you if you don't mind sharing your contact information?
Okay, I am at Suzanne at SuzanneFensin.com.
Mm-hmm.
SuzanneFensin.com, and you can, say hello on social media again. Like I'm on Facebook and
Yay.
Instagram and all those
Mhm.
places. Um, and you could call 408-843-8953 and leave a message if you have a question, you want to chat, got something going on, I'd be happy to help you out.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Really looking forward to the next time we get to connect. And thank you for connecting with us today. As always, you have a great day, okay, Ann?
Thank you, Jill.
Thank you so
Bye.
much, Suzanne. Bye. Bye, everyone.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house.
And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.